Well, what's happening, and good evening to y'all out there in Facebook, YouTube, and any other social media platform that you catching us on. Welcome to another episode of The Bridge. So what's going on with you, Irie? How you doing tonight?
Everything is everything, brother man. I'm here chilling. I got a drink in hand. I'm feeling a little Irish today, so it ain't got nothing to do with Irish Day. So I'm doing a little Irish whiskey, some Jameson, and bought some iced tea. So I said, let me put some Jameson in the iced tea. So now I got some Irish iced tea.
Okay. Since you got that drink in the hand, I'm just gonna go on ahead and jump in there for that you looking like a true Dolphin fan with a drink in your hand, drinking
Well,
away the
shoot,
worries.
I need something to drink away the worries and oh my god, oh my god, that was such a heartbreaking loss, man. Oh my god. But I didn't. Yeah, it would have been great if they had won that game. It would have been awesome. But for it to come down to the last 2 seconds of that game, to even to get that opportunity to go into overtime, I kind of feel like if we won, we didn't deserve to win. Cause goddamn, because that's just how I felt. If we had won, I would have been happy. But right at that time, I was like, shit, we don't deserve to win this damn game, man. You know. But hey, it is what it is. Yeah, 1 and 2. I don't, just seem like it every time. Every year when you get to that point. I mean, last year was a different. Cause I think we started out, we won like several games, in the beginning of the season. I think, if memory serves me right. Um, but every year just seems like it's the same. It's just the same thing. Like you just start getting that deja vu feeling creeping in real early. I was like, we're just gonna have a shitty season this year. Oh, but I saw the cow people were playing last night, man. I was like, hey, what up? What up? You know?
You mean real players?
Yeah, y'all got a good. He's a good quarterback, and I think he's really trying. I think he's had to prove himself more this year. Out of all the years I think that he's been with Dallas, I have the feeling that he's going to really try to prove himself this year, especially coming off of that injury, from last year. You know, look, the little bit that I saw last night when I was eating dinner, it seemed like he is trying to be a little more, like he's more focused, in how he's playing, how he's throwing the ball. And of course, he's not going to be out there doing any more forward slides. 'Cause,
Mhm.
I saw that last night. Every time he like, I don't care. I'm going head first. It's like, yeah, but yeah.
Well, only thing I got to say is we did good tonight. I'm proud of it. I'm glad the Saints beat the Patriots.
Hmm.
Jameis did his thing, looking good on that end. So I'm just happy with that so far.
Okay.
Improving that if the Patriots kept Cam, they'll be in probably in a better situation. But they feel they did what's right for the organization, and now they got to suffer with what's going on with the organization.
Right. Right. Well, I guess as they said, proof is in the winning of the games. Whoever team it is, let's
Hmm.
win some games. So that's what I want to see. I want to see us win some bloody games, man. Make it worth my while. Shoot, I wasn't even thinking, shoot, maybe I'll go buy some tickets and go to a game actually this year. Who knows, you know. But yeah, I'll have to seriously, think about that because I hear the price of the tickets like almost doubled.
For real?
Um,
Huh.
whatever the price of the tickets went up, just like every damn thing. Yeah, price of tickets went up for the game. and they're doing so much construction out there at the Dolphins at the Hard Rock Stadium. Like yeah, like they're doing a ton load of construction out there. And I didn't realize that they had put up they had relocated. This is how out of touch I've been as a fan. I didn't realize that they had actually relocated the training facility
To
there
right there.
on yeah, right there in front of the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they just reclaimed the part of the parking lot, and yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So which makes sense because pretty much most every other team they have their training facility by the stadium, right?
Well, not every team, but some older teams I don't think have it, but like newer
Okay,
teams do. Like teams that rebuild their organization, like the Raiders,
right.
their training facility is probably there. Dolphins moved because they was in they contract was up, and
Okay,
they decided that, hey, we own the stadium, we got this land out here, let's go ahead and put it out here, and maybe we'll get a tax break from the city of Miami Gardens,
no, okay,
more of a tax break from the city.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, like I said, I mean, it seems to work. So now that they've done that, so everything else is now being rearranged, and I guess not, and so a lot of the space how has been taken up. There's a tennis facility out there now and everything. So there a lot of places have the everything is getting redistributed. Per se, parking, different types of parking. Yeah, it's like a mess out there right now, but I'm sure by next year they'll get it done.
Hmm. Well, let me jump into to the next topic. We go. Today was National Voting Day for the folks that's out there capable of voting and
To
didn't
go
have,
to go register.
yeah, to go register, because we need everybody able body to vote.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the day, because like 60% people that's eligible to vote that's not registered, they don't get the call to tell them to come register. So we need to make that move to say, hey, if you're capable of voting, you need to go register.
Is that only for one day?
No, you can register, but all
Or
year
you
round.
can start. You can do that. Oh well, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, but because it's set like that. So if they have voting come up, if you got a certain time frame that you can register.
Okay,
So
okay, okay. Right,
so
right,
if
right,
you
right.
haven't registered in this time frame, you can't vote in this election.
Okay, you mean if you haven't registered by today?
Yeah, certain elections that's coming up,
Right.
you won't
Okay.
be you won't be able to vote in it.
Yeah, because it's I think it was 6 weeks out because the election is coming up in November here in South Florida in Florida.
Hmm. So.
Well, South Florida. I know the Alcy Haitian seat is up. Uh, then I don't know what else we have on the books in terms of elections. So
Hmm. So, and then the next thing we got coming up, um, this day is an observation as a national campaign. Is observed as a national campaign for people to go out and register to vote.
okay,
So,
like take your ass out and go vote, go register to vote.
and then the next thing we got coming up as a Thursday, the minimum wage takes a hike. It goes up.
I
So
mean,
it's due, but
it's due.
it's
I
not
don't
enough.
know. Yeah, it's not enough.
Hmm.
And so it you want to like hurt somebody when you hear these Neanderthals, on these sound bites talk about, well, people are going to see an increase in their paychecks and they're going to, have more money to spend in the economy. I'm like, bitch, people can't even afford to pay rent. Like $1.35 is not gonna change. change,
it,
but
it
it's like what? You know, it's like, listen, man. Yeah, I mean, from eight something to $10 an hour, I'm like, okay, what is it like? I don't know, 40 something. That's less than $100 a
it
year.
right now it was what we don't need a minimum wage. We need a living wage. Even by
Yeah.
2016, when it gets to $15 an hour, the still cost of living has increased so much by in the next 5 to 6 years. That's still going to be nothing.
Mm-hmm. Because what I see, so obviously a lot of the things are prices have gone up on pretty much every damn thing, and what you notice about economy and products, and especially the private enterprises, if they're able to sell at a higher price regardless of what's going on, and they are not mandated to go back to affordable, they don't have to, because basically, if I can sell it for 20 cents more, and people are buying it, guess what? I don't have to reduce the price. You know, the other thing that may happen too is probably gas. Because people are gonna outcry, "Hey, gas expensive. We can't afford gas. We can't afford to be driving to work. We need gas down." But so maybe next year gas prices may go down. So because they'll probably have more production of oil. Hence, hopefully, barrels cost of barrels will probably go down per se. But it all
Hmm.
depends on what you locked in at, at what price you already locked in at.
Yeah,
So
but that's the way it is.
yeah,
Until they're put into our position and have to live at the rate that we live in, they're never going to understand because they have money for the
'cause
most part. The people that
yeah,
make the rules have the money, and they don't have the understanding that regular regular folks that work a regular 9 to 5 day to day, that it, that is
right. But I mean,
hard, not a living
when,
wage.
right. So back in the day, when you know it was very economical to be to move to Florida, or move to live here in Florida, or feel good that you lived in Florida.
Hmm.
One, when everybody was celebrating, well, we don't have any state tax. Like, okay, cool, Ray. But over the years, because things, of inflation and everything else, it feels like the inflation has substituting itself for the state tax. So, you know, so everything in Florida, is getting more expensive. Housing, rental, just every damn thing. And so it's not as it was economical to live in Florida, at least in South Florida for sure.
Hmm.
Um, Anymore, things are just outrageous. So if other states, and everything, like you said, everything is so freaking political, man. It's all about the politics. What can the politics define? Who can the politics define, and who is there pushing the politics? And of course, because of who we have as governor, a lot of the things that could be good, really good for the state, you know, is not being considered. And I think the things that are being pushed, that are seemingly good, it does seem like it's only good for some of the people. It's not necessarily good for all the people in the state of Florida. You know.
Yeah. So I'm gonna jump into our main topic this evening, and that's the I'm not gonna say the plight, but how America is treating our Haitian brothers and sisters, whether it be in Haiti or at the border of United States and Texas. None of it is correct. So I'm gonna start off by saying that the aid, humanitarian aid that's going over there through not through the people, but through the government is not enough, and it's like we have to do for our brothers and sisters over there, even if we're not Haitian, but they're of the African diaspora, and we need to help one another.
True, true, true. So I'm sure yes, about 4,000 of the immigrants that were the seeking us out. Most of them, about 4,000 of them, did get deported, and then they finally cleared the bridge. There's nobody there now. Everybody has been taken away to someplace else. Whether or not all those people who are at centers now, with if they all get you know access to see people and file the paperwork, and whether or not they get accepted or not, I get that remains to be seen. But the images that we saw, it it you wish you could unsee that, but you can't. It's like it just got burnt into your brain. And for all images that we saw in books and possibly movies, recreation, here you're looking at lifetime, in real time video and pictures of the things that we've been fighting, so hard to either remove or disclose through education the truth about slavery and the things that happened to slavery. And of course, you see it happen to our Haitian brothers. You don't see it happen to nobody else. All these immigrants that came from all these South American countries, last year and this year and everything. See nobody, ain't nobody out was out there horsewhipping nobody. Trying to corral people, as many people that they would catch crossing rivers and whatever. You didn't see none of that. You
Mhm.
know, not at all. Nowhere, nowhere, nowhere did you see any of that stuff. You
And,
know,
and I've said that this the American government take people of the African diaspora as a joke, and I don't mean like they think they just feel they can do anything and get away with it until it's publicized, and then
hmm
it's like, oh, this is terrible, but you knew what was going on before that. You just
right,
now you got your hand caught in the cookie jar, and now you want to scream that it's terrible, especially
right.
with VP Harris, her comments of that's terrible. She should that it was terrible. She should have been more outraged than that. Speaking that she comes, a portion of her heritage comes from African descent.
I didn't see any, her comments, because a lot of those stuff, I missed. Um, and I don't know how much outrage she expressed, at the time. And I guess, maybe, us being, we're Africans, descendant of our forefathers and all that good stuff. That probably expect her. The expectation is that she, maybe she should be more outraged. I don't know. I'm not a politician, and yes, obviously we the people want our politicians, I guess, to sort of, not to sort of, to most times empathize, um, with who we are and our plight, especially if they look like us.
Mhm,
Um, I guess that's probably why you most everybody love Maxine Waters, because sometimes being politically correct is not always the right thing to do, even as a
mhm,
politician. So if you can come out and say, "God damn it, I'm pissed," then I think people appreciate the realism of that, because you are speaking to us and it feels real, because that's probably how maybe some of us may be more colorful.
Mm-hmm.
but it resonates, because it just feels like you're directly speaking to us through, channeling your pain, so I get that, and I think that, whatever policies, that they're still engaged, some of these policies, have to be changed, especially when it comes to, um as they're dealing with Haiti, and as one person says, Haiti's probably catching all this hell because they had the nerve to rebel and win, you know, and everybody else is there, you know, still trying to put the foot on their neck, just because of that very fact. They rebelled, they fought, they won, they defeated, and they sent people packing.
And
You
but
know,
do people recognize how long they have been playing for that rebellion? You
a
know,
long time.
and I say like one of the reasons that they have been paying is for the because of the United States of America, because they put the pressure on France. You know, they're saying, "Hey, man, y'all need to do something about this. We can't have them rebelling like this." And that set a bad example for the slaves we got here.
Hmm.
So they were like, y'all need to. They helped them put the taxation onto the island to where they was paying to be free somewhat for over almost what over 100 years.
Yeah, I mean, they only just recently, I forget how many years ago, that they were not paying anymore. Um, but just to think,
And that but
all that
that's
money that was paid out over the years.
and that's why the nation is poor as it is, because the bulk of their money was going out to pay France.
Hmm. That, and then couple that with, active corruption,
Hmm.
um, and you know, it just seems like the old adage, we are often the ones that frig ourselves. Whether black people here, black people in Jamaica, black people in Haiti, black people across the water, whatever it is, and when you talk about corruption in government and politics, within our country, um, especially a black nation, you know, that is just so you know, there's no advantage to that. Yeah, and I thought it was more recent than that. Yeah, but there's no
And,
advantage to.
and I'm saying in 1947, they
Hmm.
finally stopped. But then you think about the American government. How long have they had their hand in by running the government over there? They was picking the presidents and trying to put in place who they felt should be leading over there,
Right,
leading to the corruption, the corruption over there.
right. Hmm. Well, and yes, all these administrations, I know how far back we're going, but I guess for what the last 60 years, 60, 70 years, um, this policies, especially when, they enacted the dry foot, wet foot policy with Cuba, and you have, um, you know, the same plight, you got Haitians coming, on boats, you got Cubans coming over on boats, but there was a stark differentiation between one set of people or the other, you know, and the powers that be through politics said, well, yes, we are down here, and this is what we want, and you better give it to us.
Mhm.
um, to keep the peace.
And then they came up with the what that is, the wet foot, dry foot,
Yeah,
that
they went for
only,
drive.
and it's supposed to be for everybody, but it only applied to Cubans.
Right.
Because
You
how
know.
many Haitians have made it to land, then got out the boat and been on and still got deported, or
Hmm.
sat in the ICE facility, immigration facility, and not free.
Right. Yeah. You know. So um, there has been, it's like a cultural warfare, against our people in Haiti for so many years, and I don't, when I listen to some of these stupid rhetoric, especially people claiming to be Christians, but we're Christians and we'll travel the world and we will, which is calling out the hypocrisy of Christianity. Some yeah, that that's my religion, but you'll travel the world um, to go spread the word and the gospel, and then you come back here and you're like, well, you know what? We don't really want them here.
Mhm,
We'll go far and talk to them, but we don't. When it comes down to it for asylum, we don't want that whole general, blanket slate. Yeah, here, everybody coming, for asylum. But let us go over there to Austria, Switzerland, whatever. Um, and if there was a plight for people coming in seeking asylum, you don't see none of that, most of those people getting turned back or getting sent home.
mhm.
And here's the cool thing, or the crazy thing: they come in flying on a plane, seeking
Yeah,
asylum,
and we bring them over here,
right?
and then let them file for asylum.
Hmm. I'm like, what? You fly? What? Okay, yeah.
Like the
But,
Afghans that
hmm
they're flying over here. I'm like, you can let 80 to 90,000 Afghans over here, but you can't let in 8,000
hmm right?
Haitians. You can't let in 80 Haitians.
hmm
You
Right.
deport them. You throw their stuff in bags. Don't even label it. And when they get off the plane, you just throw it in a pile for them to have to go through it. That's no dignifying way to treat anyone.
Anybody, anybody, and I think that's just how people look at how people get treated.
Hmm.
But just to go back real quickly, when I said people, fly in, so people were actually flying in from Venezuela, into Mexico.
Hmm.
So some of those people that were under the bridge, not all 12 or 15,000 people were Haitians. There are a
Hmm.
lot of people were from different nationalities there, and some of those people were from Venezuela. They flew into Mexico because it would have been easier for them to do that than trying to do, um, any other route. You know, so that when you look at the craziness of trying to get into these United States, and the way people look at people. Well, they are disease ridden and COVID ridden and blah blah blah. And according to their leaders, they're rapists, murderers, and criminals.
Hmm.
You know, and people to understand the desperation. When you hear the interview and the Haitian guys and people, and they're like, you walk 3 months, walk. Maybe every once in a while you may be able to catch up a bus somewhere. You're risking your life literally. You get robbed, you get beat up, you know, um, you know, and you still continue to get to a place, you know, so you can hopefully get a chance at, you know, redeeming, some part of your life, a better chance at a better life. Hopefully, you get some of your family members who are already here help you out, you know. But most people wouldn't, I think, because of the privilege that most of us have here, and most of the people that don't look like us can't fathom the idea of of that kind of desperation.
Mhm.
It doesn't even ring home to them. And even if there's no empathy. Well, blah 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 blah. Everybody, do it the right way. And I understand, there's policies and procedures when it comes to immigration, but until you're able to have a bona fide, solid, comprehensive, immigration reform, this is going to go on for the ages. It's gonna go on and on and on, and we're gonna have the same conversations. If it's not the Haitians, today it's gonna be somebody else again. If not, Mexicans, Guatemalan, Salvadorians, Ecuadorians,
Mhm.
Chile, Peruvians, whatever you. If it ain't them, it's gonna be somebody else because we don't have comprehensive reform in immigration. And there's always every year there's going to be someone on some side like, no, we don't want no more immigrants. We're full. No, we're not full. God damn it.
But they didn't say that about the Afghans. We don't need no more immigrants. We full.
No, I didn't say that. You
Mhm.
know.
So it just goes back to what you're just saying, the hypocrisy of it, that is going to continue because
Yeah.
it's only who they want to come in the country. It's
Yeah.
not it's not what they have written on the Statue of Liberty. Give us your tired, your weak, all that jazz. That doesn't stand for what America is today.
Uh, Not at all. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely not at all. Because that is almost as if people have just taken that whole phrase, and just hidden it someplace. It doesn't really mean anything, because I think at the core, of our democracy, most people are selfish. It's all about just what happens here. Um, you know, we say we want to be kind to other people, but at the core, most people just really want to keep everything here for themselves. You know, I think it's only when it gets really bad and it gets highlighted either through media or social media, that's when you see, like, this sort of outpour outpouring of full empathy sometimes. So some of it is genuine, but a lot of it does seems to be, so unreal, so fake. We're genuine for the meantime, but as soon as this dies down, it's back to business as usual.
And that's America, especially when it's have to deal with how when it especially deals with racism. They just find another form of way to implement it, how
Right.
to disguise it better. It's and then that's how they get over. Okay, yeah, we're gonna stop. We're not gonna do this anymore. But all they doing is figuring out, okay, how can we restructure this? How can we relabel this and keep the same thing going and say
Right.
we're not doing it anymore at the
Hmm.
same time.
Right. Right. Well, I
So
mean, I don't, I don't, because a lot of people are just, powers that be are not interested in restructuring anything. They're not. Yeah, they, like I said, they just want to keep the status quo, keep it the way it is, because that's how we like it. And we benefit from the status quo. Um, yeah, we benefit from the status quo, and you know, that's what we like. Blind eye to what's going on. Yeah, yeah, you see that all the time, man. And then people want to come out and talk their shit. And then when you start calling people out, oh, you're mean, how could you say that? You
Hmm.
know, I gave at the charity. I gave at the charity. I donated toilet paper. You know, um, but did you go down and volunteer? Did you go down and help somebody build a house, or help somebody move, or what? Did you go down and interact with people? Did you actually go down and talk to people? Do you understand the plight that people are going through? We're not even just talking about immigrants now.
Hmm.
I mean,
Did you go
just
to your local politician, your state politician,
yeah,
and saying that this is wrong? We need to do something about it.
yeah, did you go down and do that? If you're so concerned, did you go down and share that, like you said, with the politicians? He's like, I know we look different, but we as a people, we need to work together. No, most people, are not doing that, but because of social media, a lot of people are able to hide behind screens and words, and fake avatars and all that good stuff. You um, it's easier to do that, you know, than to actually get up and do the real work. Thanksgiving project coming up for me again this year. And you know, as individuals, I think we have to do individual things. You know, because that's what matters. Not just to just be under the umbrella of some big organization. I think a lot of think we need to not necessarily separate yourself, but actually do the large umbrella thing, but also be more individualistic. Because you're able to reach people on a more organic way, the grassroots way, you know, door to door. Let people see how much that you really care. It's not so much that see that organization care, but to see that you as a family, you as an individual, that you care.
Yeah, because speaking of giving out and caring, um, I have an organization, the local organization that's doing work in Haiti, and I wanted to encourage people to donate what they can. So I'm gonna put the link out there. If you can see it, this is the link. Click on it. Go out and give what you can, and to help
What's it
our brothers and sisters.
what's it called? The
We Reach Foundation.
WeReachFoundation.org.
Hmm.
And that is specifically geared towards,
Haiti. Right now,
okay,
uh, they're doing
the
primary.
WeReachFoundation.org.
It is they primarily doing work in Haiti.
Okay.
I know most of the organizers of the group are of Haitian descent. I don't know if all of them are, but I know a lot of the majority of them are.
Okay. The we the We Reach Foundation.org. I'm just gonna just put it out and put it up on Twitter as I'm so I don't forget.
Hmm.
And I'm sure there are other organizations that are still taking you know assistance from people too. So if we're able to connect with that, for sure, that'd be great too.
Yeah, because let's see, I thought I had one more organization, but doing some work, but I'll post that later.
Oh, okay.
I'll post that later. I got to find it. I don't have it readily right in front of me right now.
The We Reach Foundation.org. Okay, make that post later in a sec. So that's good.
So
Cool.
we did almost everything we needed to cover this week, Irie. This was a fast show. What you
Oh,
got
I thought
coming
you
up?
was going. I thought you was going to talk about R. Kelly.
Oh, I was trying not to.
Now you got look at that. The, it, and it just seemed like Well, there are a couple of things that we need to talk, real quickly before we even get to R. Kelly. Put R. Kelly to the side real quick. For the people who are watching, hopefully, as we saw the last couple of weeks, there was that this whole media blitz campaign, for this young lady that had gone missing in the mount in the the cross country trip with her fiance,
Hmm.
and of course, in some instances on social media and in media, you know, people were saying, well, we see this happen when it comes to, white females and or just just white people in general, and there's not that same energy for other people that go missing, whether that's
Hmm.
indigenous people, definitely black people, Hispanic people. Um, but you know, she was found. Unfortunately, she wasn't alive, and of course they're looking for the home dude. But at the same token, we have another young lady here in South Florida, um, that moved up to Orlando and is now missing, and family and they're now up there in Orlando. The family has started a whole search thing going on in Orlando. I think her name is Mia, if I'm not if I'm not mistaken. But there are so many different things that are being posted on social media, Instagram, Twitter. I've been sharing a lot of that stuff, when I can, for people if there's any information. So if you're, watching, listening, and you're in the Orlando area, and you saw something, remember something, you know, hopefully somebody can be contacted. So, and I'm glad to see that the media had picked it up. Mia Marcano, that the media had picked it up um, locally too, and I think there was some national aspect to it, but glad to see that local media here and outside, outside of of here, they were talking about it, and trying to get people to see if they can, any information at all. So, so that's that, and then of course, we got our R. Kelly, madness. Um, his thing does seem like it just overshadows certain, the events of the day. But bottom line, without even going into too much, I think, and when you look at the things that are happening to young women, um, young underage women, even you know teenage young adults, and just women in general. And one of the things that I've several times I've done it now, where I've appealed to women to be careful out there, to be vigilant in their of their surroundings. I see oftentimes, I see women jogging by themselves, 5:30 in the morning, at night, you know, and everybody feels safe in certain neighborhoods. And the truth is, anything can happen to anybody anywhere. And I remember there's a video I posted of a lady getting abducted in a parking lot, and it just seems so surreal when you're looking at it. You're looking at the security cameras, and how it unfolded. These two guys, walking in the parking lot. They seem, they see nothing. Seem, nothing happening. One on one side, one, it just seems random. And lady comes out of the supermarket, goes to her car, and she is putting stuff in the car. Next thing you know, one guy comes over and you know gets her to go in the car, push, and then the other guy comes into the car and drives the car away, and she's gone just like that. You know, holiday season's coming up, so it's like hope people are being a little more vigilant, for that. But then, of course, when you talk about things that are happening to young women by whether it's a pedophile, abuser, harasser, you know, um, and then there's always somebody that's protecting them. So when I see people out here on the streets, in front of the court playing R. Kelly's music and saying that he's being railroaded and stuff like that, I want to ask some of those people: were you abused by R. Kelly, or were you abused by somebody else? Were you somebody that's protecting somebody that was abusing somebody else? Just because it's R. Kelly and one of the greatest you know artists that can songwriter, gifted songwriter, doesn't mean that he's beyond what he got you know charged for, not just charged, but found guilty of. You know, so I think a lot of us need to just check ourselves, and understand that women do go through some serious things in their lifetime, and if if we know something, we should be saying something. We should be sticking up for the people that we love.
I
You know,
agree with you there, Irie, because
I'm saying,
that's the biggest problem that's out there. And like you said earlier, people that see it happening and not saying nothing, you're part of the problem.
right?
You're just as guilty as the person um doing the act, because you could letting the act continue. You know what's going on and you're not saying anything. That's terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And that might be more horrendous than the act itself, because you know what's happening.
yeah, because in a lot of ways, silence means you're being complicit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be this. You don't have to be doing nothing or engage. You're not guilty of anything, but the fact that just to be silent means that you're allowing something egregious to happen or continue to happen. You know, and that's because we here in America is like, well, it ain't none of my business.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that mindset, um, a lot of things get swept under the rug or just get swept away. Period. And there are a lot of ways that you can share information without actually being physically involved. There are a lot of anonymous hotlines there, that you can share information with, and nobody got to know who you are if you feel that strongly about, minding your business. But you can share information, and nobody has to know who you are.
The biggest way they should look at it, because how you said, people say it's not my problem, it's not my business. But what if that was your mother, your sister, your brother, or your child? Wouldn't you want somebody to speak up and defend
Yeah,
them?
yes, because when just like everything else, until it affects you in some way, shape, or form, that's when everybody you're reaching out. Oh my God, I need you. I need y'all to pray for me. I need y'all to this. I need y'all to that. But 2 days ago, you're like, it ain't none of my business with this thing going on over here. Somebody,
Mm-hmm.
like, y'all, I need help. I need help. I need help. You know, um, So yeah, so this is kind of crazy. You know.
All right. I ain't really want to talk about Robert, you know, because I'm still gonna play his music. Don't like what he did,
Hmm.
but I'm like, the council culture is out there saying that we should not play his music, but it's a lot of music that's out there that he wrote for other artists, and we
Yeah.
not supposed to play that too.
Right. Look here. Bottom line, everybody has just like COVID, vaccinate or no vaccinate, mask or no mask. As long as if you're making a choice, that's just within yourself without being um a law breaking the law, or trying to vilify somebody else. um Everybody have a choice. You have a choice to play the music. You have a choice not to play the music. You know, but I don't think blanket you know the whole cancel culture thing to just blanketly state that okay, let's get rid of everything R. Kelly, let's get rid of everything Bill Cosby, let's get rid of every blah 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 blah. We can go down the line.
Mhm.
You know, we can go down the line, but especially when it comes to black people. But I tell you what,
Yeah.
look at a lot of these other people, and it whatever egregious act they committed, you know, 5 years like, oh yeah, let me run for government, let me run for office again.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just like, but wait a minute, didn't he? No,
They,
man, it's all good. Everybody deserves a second chance.
yeah, let them sweep that up under the rug. Like, man,
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
worry about that. He good
right.
now.
Everybody deserves a second chance. Shoot.
Even though Robert on his third chance, he just ain't
Yeah,
learned from the first two times in court.
probably not. Probably not. I was like, mm,
But let's get
so
off
yeah.
Robert. What you got coming up, Irie? I know.
So
This week.
yeah, this week is like today I just did my demo. So Friday, Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Um, this my it's my rotation this Friday. Ninth, listening. Listen to the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, but do definitely listen between 9:30 and 9:45. That'll be my segment this Friday. This Thursday, 7 p.m. Once again, the new restaurant review show, Black owned restaurant review show. This will be our third installment this Thursday, 7 p.m. on Facebook under MIA Media. And of course, when I'm sharing it to my page, you can definitely find us there. I think this week we're doing House of Mac um, this week, so should be, definitely tune into that. Tomorrow is MIA Soul, and of course, do remember to get the book Taste the Islands Culinary Adventure in a Caribbean Kitchen on Amazon. Yes, that's where you can get it. And if I can get some for you. We can sign it. Costs a little more when the chef signs it for you, but it's all good. You know, Amazon, check it out.
All right.
So that's what I got.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say that calls it for this week episode of The Bridge. Catch you next week. Peace.
Peace.